crowd gathered around her little white casket, wrote little notes on her casket. Sorry, that's because it did ping and it went off and you got caught.
No. He's obviously the person who behind the cover up.
Yes. Dismembered, decapitated. Probably because you're trying to hide something and make sure certain details don't come out.
Show cans of soup were found with holes in the lids.
Sorry guys, technical difficulties here. How's everybody doing? Oh man, we've got a lot of regulars in here. Hey Jennifer. Hey lovely daisies. Hi Emily. All right, so we're gonna get started here in just a minute. Hey Nick and Steph, hey Becky, hey Rock to Hal, hey Janae. Ooh, so many of you guys in here. Nice to see you guys. All right, so we have a lot to talk about today, obviously. There's been a lot going on in the last few weeks, a lot of horrible crime out there. And one of the big cases we're, of course, going to be discussing today is the Reagan Hancock case, which unfortunately, I'm sure most people are familiar with it by now because of how horrific it is. But I want to do things a little bit different today. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about the case, about what we know, some of the speculation that's happening as far as who this atrocious, evil, vile woman, Taylor Parker, really is. And then I'm going to share the link again, which I know last time I did that after quite a bit of wine, but I'm going to do it today to see what you guys have to say about it, because I know I've been getting so many messages and DMs and this and that and emails from you guys about this case because you have information, because you're a close friend, or you have strong opinions and views on the case. And so I want to just open it up in a little bit to have a real group discussion and hear what you guys think, hear what your thoughts are, what you believe may have triggered this to happen, and just really kind of get some good dialogue going. So don't feel pressure. If you want to join but don't want to do it with your camera, you can definitely turn your camera off. But I am going to be sharing that link here in a little bit. So let me just click over here really quick, because we are going to start today with, if you weren't here for my last video, fun fact before the video. So if you guys were on my last video, you know what I'm doing now, because you guys have been asking so much to learn more about me. I'm sharing a fun fact before every video. So if you don't want to know about me, just fast forward. But if you do, that's what I'm going to share. So last fun fact, you'll have to go back and watch the previous video to learn that. But this next one takes us back to 2017 when I got married. And here is the fun fact. So in order to tell you what happened, I have to set the scene a little bit and illustrate what went down. So let me just throw this on here. This is a picture from my wedding day, and that's my wedding dress. And I was a brunette, yes, well, or jet black, I guess. And what a lot of people do is after they get married, they choose to sell their wedding dress. And it may be that they just don't want to keep it because it takes up too much room, or they aren't emotionally tied to it. Personally, for me, I just didn't care to keep it. I mean, I have the memories, but I figured I would just sell it. And so there's a ton of different websites dedicated to this. There's like pre-owned dresses, I don't know, all these different websites. So after I get married, I list my dress for sale and I say, let's see if somebody wants to buy it. Somebody starts messaging me, asking me about the size, I had to obviously have like custom measurements done just to make sure it fit me well. So I had to provide those custom measurements, all of these things. So we do the whole exchange. I send my dress off, they pay, they gave me their address for the shipping, of course, all of this stuff. Well, 2 months later, I'm just online scrolling through my feed, looking at what's going on, and I see a celebrity wedding. And I say, oh my God, she's wearing the same dress as me. Then I look and there was an error, which nobody would know to the naked eye, on the train of the dress where I had it altered. And I look closer and I see that alteration mark. And so I'm like, wait, what? So I go back to my messages, back to the sale, go to all those things, because I'm like, this couldn't possibly be real, because obviously I would have recognized this name. And sure enough, when I looked at the address, looked at the groom's name of who this celebrity married, it was my dress. And here she is, Miranda Lambert. So that is my fun fact of the day. I sold my wedding dress online and I sold it to Miranda Lambert, and she wore it for her recent wedding. So there you have it. There's today's fun fact. Maybe that's more interesting for me than it is for you, but oh well. All right, so before we get started, don't forget, if you want to stay updated and be notified of future videos and live streams, or just to support the channel, hit that subscribe button below, and please remember to give this a thumbs up, and let's jump into it. So we are going to be talking about Reagan Hancock. And if you aren't familiar with this case, we're going to talk a lot about it. And if you are familiar, please chime in with the comments, because I want to know what your views are on this case. So to kick it off, we're going to just talk about what really happened from the very beginning. So on October 9th in Texas, there was a state trooper driving down the road, and he pulled a woman over. And when he pulled her over, he identified her as 27-year-old Taylor Parker. And she was holding a newborn baby, and the baby was not breathing. And she explains to the state trooper how she just gave birth in her car on the side of the road. Now the baby wasn't breathing and she was frantic. And he, of course, was equally frantic. And he said, okay, we got to get you to the hospital. We got to get it. Like, we have to try to save this child, save you. Like, let's go. So they get to the hospital, and she was taken by ambulance, and she was taken to McCurtain County, Oklahoma, where the baby was pronounced dead immediately. However, as we know, curveballs like to get thrown. And shortly after, the doctors began growing very suspicious of Taylor, because she was refusing to be checked out by doctors. And they, of course, wanted to check her out, because they said, yo, you just gave birth to this baby on the side of the road. The baby, unfortunately, now has passed away. We need to check you out. We need to make sure that the bleeding's okay, that there's no tears, no internal injuries. Like, come on. And she was very, very hesitant to do that. Well, so meanwhile, what's happening a little ways down in Texas is a 911 call is placed at the home of Reagan Hancock. And this call came in at shortly after 10 a.m. that Friday, and Reagan was discovered dead on the floor of her house by her mother, with her stomach quite literally cut open, and her baby, she was 8 months pregnant, was gone. So, I mean, this is a really tough case, guys. And I know it's like tough for you guys too, to be listening to it. So what unfolded after let me rewind to the hospital. Sorry, guys. I know I'm jumping all over the place right now. So after they realized that they grew suspicious, she wasn't being allowed to be checked out by doctors, it started to all unravel. And it was revealed that that baby who she brought in, that she had claimed to have birthed on the side of the road, of course, did not belong to her. And this baby, in fact, belonged to 21-year-old Reagan Hancock. And when that 911 call came in regarding Reagan being found by her mother at the home, they put two and two together, realized that Taylor Parker was responsible for this, and she was arrested at the hospital. Now, Reagan was married to, and her husband's name is Homer, and they were parents to already a 3-month-old baby girl. And they were so excited about this new child. They already had named her Braxlyn Sage. She was due on November 10th, which is literally just a month from when this horrible crime took place. And they were ecstatic about her. She would post on Facebook how they were so excited about expecting their sweet baby girl. And all in all, everybody was just, they couldn't wait. And a friend of Reagan's had recently spoke out, and she said that Reagan had mentioned how she was so ready for Brax to be here, that she was a little nervous that she was going to be coming faster than they had thought. So she was expecting an early delivery, which unfortunately is not very common on your second, third, fourth, even first pregnancy, because things are moving and the baby comes sooner. So she had told her friend that she felt like she was going to be there before November. Overall, very excited. They often posted about it. They would talk to friends about hoping she stayed in and had a healthy delivery come November. And it was just heartbreaking. And yes, 3 years old. I thought I said 3 years old. Sorry, did I say 3 months old? No, 3 years old. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. She had a 3-year-old daughter already with Homer. So there we go. In this case, this just happened on October 9th. So it's a recent case. Sorry, I'm jumping back and forth onto the comments. So police responded to that 911 call where she was in the home discovered by her mother, in the home that she also shared with her husband, Homer, and their 3-year-old daughter, Kinley. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And she, like I said, appeared to have a cut across her entire stomach, and there was no baby in sight. And it was determined that she died after Braxlin was removed from her body. I mean, pretty horrific. As a mother, I can't even imagine. As anybody, as like a human being, you walk into the other room of your house and you discover that your friend, your partner, your family member, your daughter is not only lying there, clearly have been being attacked, but also she was 8 months pregnant, her stomach is open, and that child is not there. And I want you just to put yourself in that position for one moment before we continue. That if you close your eyes and just think about it, whether you're a woman, a male, whatever it is, and you come across somebody whose body has been torn open, and you're expecting a baby, you're expecting your daughter, and you're so excited about it. And not only is your wife or your girlfriend or your partner, whoever it is, dead on the floor, but where is your child? You don't even know. The child is literally missing. And there's this gruesome, horrific scene that you've just walked onto. I mean, I can't imagine how terrified they must have been, and the trauma that from seeing that and experiencing that, it's heartbreaking. I'm actively trying to figure out where they have a fundraiser set up or donations, and I will share that link with you guys as soon as I get it. I'm waiting to hear back. It's just the worst of the worst. It's unimaginable. So once it was determined and all the pieces were put together that this woman had just faked giving birth at the hospital and was also reluctant to be checked out, and the baby had died, and then there's this 911 call coming in and the baby was stolen from this other woman, they pieced it all together that Taylor had in fact killed Reagan and snatched her unborn child out of her belly and then fled the scene before she was pulled over by that state trooper. There's been cases like this that have happened in the past, but this one is very complex because so many little pockets of information are starting to emerge and be revealed to where it really makes you wonder not only what the motive was, which obviously the motive was to take this child that didn't belong to her, but was there something else going on mentally? Probably. I think that's pretty safe to guess. But also, there's been a lot of rumors and speculation about a possible hysterectomy in the past, lying about a pregnancy, which I'm going to get into. So I want you guys to start sharing your feedback in here with me as we go. And then, of course, I'm going to open up the panel discussion too. So here's the thing. Taylor wasn't a stranger to Reagan. They were Facebook friends, and they also spent time together offline. They weren't just online buddies. Yes, they were online buddies, but they had a friendship in real life. So much so that Taylor actually photographed engagement photos of Reagan, Homer, and Kinley just not too long ago, and wedding photos of the family months later. And she was very active in their life. And she would comment on these wedding photos too, saying, you know, my favorite little family. And there was a clear relationship here to where, not that it makes it any better if it were a stranger and they, you know, they attack and kill a woman and steal her baby, but there was a friendship here. And again, we're going to talk about that way down the line, but there was a recent case very, very similar to this that happened just a few months back too, and we're also going to talk to that. So unfortunately, this isn't as uncommon as we would hope it would be. So according to records, Taylor also had delivered a baby gift and a Starbucks coffee to Reagan just the day before this murder took place. I mean, she was in their life. She was photographing their engagement, photographing their wedding, commenting on their pictures, bringing a baby gift and a Starbucks gift card, Starbucks coffee the day before she goes in, viciously attacks Reagan, cuts her open, and steals her child. That is a level of deranged, in my opinion. I mean, because at that point, you've already been master manipulating and plotting this entire sequence of events that's about to take place just 12 or 24 hours later. You know that this baby gift is never going to come to fruition because your plan is to steal this baby as your own. The thought process that must have been going through her head, clearly there's got to be something wrong. And again, that's my opinion, but like, I can't wrap my mind around it. I cannot. And we're going to go into a lot of the theories as to what happened and why this happened and what is going on. And yes, I see a comment right here, and we're going to talk about the boyfriend, Sandy, saying that you read the boyfriend helped by holding her arms down. There's been a lot of rumors and things coming to light, which we're going to talk about. So according to public records, Taylor was previously married and divorced twice. She had a child with one of her two ex-husbands and a child with another man who was no longer involved in the child's life. So she was, again, just 27 years old. She had two children. She had been married and divorced twice, which that doesn't say anything. We all pick them wrong at some point in life. But still, she had, a little bit of complexity in her life. I'll just say that. And on her Facebook page, and here's what kills me, and we're going to talk about why. On her Facebook page, Taylor described herself as a wildflower, wild, free, and wicked, with a glow that was never meant to be tamed. Okay. So here's my problem with that. If you followed anything with the Vanessa Guillen case and the Fort Hood murders, which I'm sure most of you had, and if you haven't, there's several videos in my playlist about it. This Facebook post reminds me so much of Cecily Aguilar, because if you remember, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this because I want to stay on path here with the Reagan story, but Vanessa Guillen was brutally murdered by a coworker of her, allegedly a coworker of hers. Aaron Robinson and his girlfriend Cecily Aguilar helped him dismember the body, burn the body, and cover up this heinous, horrific crime. And on her Instagram, Cecily's Instagram, she literally, in the days following Vanessa's murder and dismemberment, she was posting things with captions such as, "I was never meant to be tamed," or "He loves me for my dark side," or "I don't want to be good when I'm with you." Like these very odd, sinister captions, which when I read this, it just reminded me immediately of Cecily, because again, it said she describes herself as a wildflower, wild, free, and wicked, with a glow that was never meant to be tamed. I mean, it literally is like a mirrored image of this Cecily chick. It just blows my mind. And in one of the posts from July 9th, Taylor had posted a photo of an ultrasound of her own, which is a close-up of a baby's face from the ultrasound. And she included a message that read, "Our sweet girl is measuring 2 pounds and 2 ounces today. She is definitely handling everything like a champ. Her measurements came back good. Heartbeat running slower than normal since they have to put mama on a heart pill. We're scheduled for a full 3D ultrasound July 30th. And after seeing this sweet face today, I cannot wait." So if you haven't gathered by now, Taylor was pregnant or pretending to be pregnant this entire time as well. And the jury's out on what actually took place in that pregnancy, if she was in fact ever pregnant, when she may have lost that child, and what took place, because she was going to extremes in the sense of a planned maternity shoot, a gender reveal. I mean, it's bizarre. It is absolutely bizarre. So okay, so on Facebook, Taylor had shared photos of what appears to be her boyfriend's farm, pickup trucks. Let me go to this and show you this actually, because this is what really makes me uncomfortable. This is one of the maternity shoot, little engagement, or not engagement, announcements, I should say. So she shared photos of what appears to be her boyfriend's farm, pickup trucks loaded with massive rolls of hay, and her boyfriend next to this little baby calf. And on August 25th, there was a photo that was dated with her showing, and it was her holding her pregnant belly and cozying up to a horse, which is this image here. If she's not pregnant, she's definitely wearing a fake stomach or stuffing it. I mean, it's very bizarre, because then here you can see too, and this was posted later on, also pretty recently, them doing their gender reveal, which, by the way, was very odd in itself, because it consisted of her boyfriend branding this animal and then the color smoke coming up. I mean, it's just the whole thing is just weird. Yes, she does look normal and innocent. It's not somebody you would expect. And here's a photo. Where's this? Let me pull these up. Of the two girls side by side. That's Reagan on the left, Taylor on the right. You wouldn't guess it. I mean, and I get it. Not evil doesn't have a standard face, but by the looks of it, you would think that this is just a regular, normal friendship. So police said that Taylor confessed to the crime shortly after, and she had told police that she committed the crime because she lied to her boyfriend about being pregnant and wanted to produce a baby. Here's where my mind starts going. So if she's saying that the reason that she committed this crime was because she had lied about her pregnancy to her boyfriend, first of all, let's pull up that maternity picture one more time. Because if you're lying to your boyfriend about being pregnant and you are this big, how does he not see that fake stomach is my question. How does he not know you're faking it? Or does he know and he helped you, which we're going to get to. So she says that she had lied about being pregnant and she needed to produce this baby to keep up with this show. And so that's why she committed the crime. It's crazy. But again, she was very big in these pictures. A gender reveal, ultrasounds. Was he not at any of the doctor's appointments? Was she getting this bootleg ultrasound online? Or was she actually pregnant in the beginning and perhaps lost the child and didn't know how to tell him and went off the deep end and all of this happened? I mean, it's just crazy. And yeah, I don't care how much you eat and how bloated you are. There is no way you can fake a stomach like that. And at night when they go to bed, does he not see it? Does she take the pillow out or whatever, the inflatable, whatever it is, and he doesn't know? I mean, it makes no sense to me. So according to the local Gazette News, Taylor also had told law enforcement that she only knew Reagan by her first name and that she thought that they were the same age. She didn't say that there was any other connection at first. She didn't say that she had photographed her engagement or her wedding or that they were friends on Facebook or that she had brought a gift the day before the murder. She just said, all I know is her first name and that I think she's somewhere around my age. Just trying to really detach from everything to pretend that she was none the wiser. And she confessed while in custody to the murder, the kidnapping, and telling officers that she told her boyfriend that she was pregnant in February and how they even had a gender reveal party. So again, she's now telling officers, I told my boyfriend back in February that I was pregnant. We had a gender reveal party. I've been doing all these pictures pretending to be pregnant. I needed to produce a baby because basically the jig is up, the time is up. I should be birthing a child by now. So was this a plot all along, and was she never really pregnant? And was this a means to perhaps, I don't know, keep her boyfriend or make it a more secure relationship? I have no idea. But it just makes me wonder so much, how could he not have known to be that far along? It's one thing if you are 5, 6, maybe even 7 months to be like, oh, I'm not showing. And which if she's already had children, that there's no way. I don't think that that's possible because generally you show more on the other children. But how could he possibly have not known? Let's see. Okay, so Ava saying, I don't think he knew. If that's the case, he seems well off enough for them to do adoption. Perhaps it's just, if he didn't know, were they never nude in front of each other? Were they never in like jammies and like shirt and pants? Like, was she always wearing the stomach? How was he never touching the stomach? Did he never go to these doctor's appointments? How could he possibly have not known? I just don't understand. And the fact that he has a farm and he works with cattle, and maybe this is just me being naive, and that's very well a strong possibility, but for Reagan to be cut open in such a vicious way with somebody who is on a farm, has tools, has cattle, like there's just something in my mind and in my gut that makes me feel he may have been involved or known more than he's letting on. All right, so then let's talk a little bit about this. Taylor was ultimately charged with capital murder, first-degree murder, and kidnapping following the death, and this is according to multiple reports. I have read that because of the severity of her charges, she's being held with no possibility of bond or bail, but I've also read that as of recently, it was set at $6 million. So I need to go back and verify because there's conflicting reports coming out right now. Now, Reagan's mother spoke out, and this is what breaks my heart, and I want to read this to make sure that I'm representing it 100% accurately, because it was very important to Reagan's mother that she speak about Reagan and who Reagan is, or rather than this crime and what took place and how awful Taylor is. And so she says that she spoke to her every day and that Reagan would be texting her, "Good morning, I love you," and "Good night," every single day. I mean, they had a great relationship, and Reagan was a sweet, loving girl. And she said, if you were her friend, if you were someone she trusted, she loved you with all of her heart. She wanted to help everybody that she could. She had the funniest attitude. She could be rough and tough and give the guys the best of it. Other times, she could be sweet and gentle. She was the best mother anyone could ask for. I was so proud of the mother that she turned out to be. They worked so hard to have what they had, referring to Reagan and her husband, Homer. She never quit working. She didn't call in sick. And the only time she missed work was when she had a doctor's appointment. Her mother said that her daughter had hoped to take college courses in the spring. And she said that she knew it was going to be a long haul, and she would only take a few at a time, but that she was determined because she was going to work, she was going to do this, and she was going to take care of that baby. This literally, like, you can't see, it's giving me the chills, and I'm trying to read it without getting emotional because it's just so sad. I mean, it is just the worst of the worst. I can't imagine. Sorry, guys, I'm really trying to keep it together here. The night before Reagan died, she and her mom had talked about how excited she was for her second daughter. And Reagan said that she was seeing signs that Braxlyn would be born soon, and she had already packed her bag for her hospital stay. And her mom says it was just a normal conversation between a mother and a daughter. We tried to raise our kids that way, family first, and thankfully that's how they turned out. If nothing else, I want people to know the kind of person Reagan was. I want people to know that there are still good people in the world. And it's just, I mean, reading these, you can just hear how upset and heartbroken that her mom is, especially to be the one who found her daughter like that and her granddaughter missing. And then to realize the betrayal of this vile woman who felt entitled to your own grandchild, to your daughter's daughter, and in such a vicious and graphic way to come in to her house, to cut her open, kidnap her child, and flee the scene without a care in the world, as if this child is her own. I can't imagine. Truthfully, I'm beside myself. I just have no idea how this is even possible. So here's what she looks like after that arrest and in her mugshot. Clearly not the same person that we once saw her to be. It looks as though she maybe had a mental breakdown, that she was maybe just upset that she was caught. I definitely don't want her to lean on the mental insanity plea, because she should certainly not get special treatment or skate out of this. But it's just, I mean, she looks a mess. Let's just be honest. She looks a mess. And then I didn't share these photos. Sorry, I'm going back and forth. And so I forgot. Here's Reagan with their 3-year-old daughter and Homer. Here's another image of them. I mean, just a happy, I mean, you can just see by Reagan's face, just a happy, loving family. And here were some of the pictures that evil a-hole Taylor took of them when they were taking their engagement photos, and then shortly after their wedding photos. And you can see here too that on that shirt that their daughter is wearing, "Mommy, will you marry my daddy?" It's so pure, it's so genuine, it's so sweet. And for someone to basically throw a grenade into that family's life and to rob them of their daughter, to rob him of his wife, to rob Reagan of the experience of knowing her second daughter, to rob Braxlyn of having a happy, healthy family with a sister and 2 loving parents and loving grandparents. It's evil. It is evil to the core. All right, let me go into the comments before we continue. And I'm also going to post this link for those of you who want to come in and join. And again, you can share your thoughts, your opinions, things that maybe you have heard about the case, because I know there's a lot happening out there that has not yet completely been validated and verified, such as Taylor was never pregnant. And I've heard that 2 years ago she had a hysterectomy. So why would she even pretend to be pregnant? I've heard that the boyfriend, which I don't want to speak on his name yet because he hasn't formally been implicated, that he was involved and that he knew about this charade all along and that he actually helped and contributed to this evil crime. Oh, I see the chat's getting pretty heated. I'm just noticing that. Kellen, what's really sad is her 3-year-old was home asleep, I've heard. It's so sad. I mean, it's beyond. Oh, let's see. All right. Hey, Roxy, are you there? You're on mute. No? Ryan, hello. Are you there? You're not on mute. I saw your face a second ago. You turned your camera off. There you are.
I have a question. Did the cops look into the boyfriend's alibi?
I believe that they have looked into everything, but they haven't released any information as far as if they were able to confirm anything or if he has been officially named a suspect as well.
Okay, that was my only question.
Thanks for calling in.
Yep.
All right. Yes, Krista. The baby passed, and I also read that the mother died because of injuries sustained from having the baby removed from her. It's horrific. Oh, we got Will in the house. Hi.
Hey.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How are you?
I mean, I've been better. Like, this is horrible.
Yeah, this is a really, really messed up case, man. I haven't followed it very closely, but it is, and I know a lot of people in the chat are going to agree with me. This is very reminiscent of the Heidi Broussard case. I mean, and it's because of something so heinous. This one heinous act of killing someone and stealing their baby. Now, the difference is Heidi Broussard had already had her baby. She had not actually, I mean, but what's blowing my mind about this is why wasn't this person charged with something regarding the removal of this baby from her body, from the victim's body? That makes no sense to me.
So I would imagine that more charges, and I don't know what the formal charge of that would be, because I know she's being charged with capital murder, first-degree murder, and kidnapping for kidnapping the child and fleeing the scene. I don't know what the official charge would be for like unlawful removement or what that would be, but I would imagine more is to come.
I can't remember what the actual charge was, but I know that Megan Faramuska was charged with doing something to Heidi Broussard. Even Chris Watts was charged with something regarding terminating a pregnancy or something to that effect, and he didn't even tamper with her as far as that goes, to our knowledge, anyway. But
so I do think though with that, now I don't know what the law is in Texas, but I know it does vary by state based on if you what is considered a viable, not a viable, but a pregnancy to where you would be charged, because some states say until the child takes a breath or makes the cry, like that it's not counted as that. Whereas some other states, like the Chris Watts incident, for example, then you are able to be charged with that. But I don't know where Texas law is on that.
I mean, but it's Texas.
I mean,
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, you'd think that they would throw the book at somebody for something like that. You know what I mean? Like, anything that I feel like she would have a lot more at least a couple more charges than just the 3. Now, the capital is enough, but a lot of the reasons now, I do this on my channel. I just kind of think out loud, but I'm thinking now that a big part of it is the prosecution will go for things that they know they can get a conviction on. So there's a possibility that for some reason, if they think that the defense can create some sort of doubt when it comes to that particular act, then, which I don't see how.
Well, I'll tell you how. So if they are behind the scenes building a case and making an investigation into the boyfriend as though if he were responsible and if he were the one to actually do that, then those charges wouldn't be attached to Taylor yet. She would be a co-conspirator, but those charges would go to him. That's
a good point. Yeah, because they're probably right now trying to build a case against this guy. So that's quite possible. I mean, because the thing is, the capital murder, that's enough. She's going to get executed probably, so
I mean, that would be a blessing for her to not have to, like, I'm not a big death penalty person, not because I think it's unjust or I don't agree with it. I agree that certain people should be wiped off the face of the earth. But my personal opinion, like if I were to commit some crazy crime, I would want the death penalty just because I wouldn't want to sit in prison for the rest of my life. Like in a selfish way, I would want the death penalty. So that's why I don't believe in it. I would much rather see people suffer and be locked in a cell or in solitary for the rest of their life.
On a moral level, I absolutely and totally agree with you on that. But on an economic level, I don't like the idea of that coming out of my taxes. I don't like the idea of supporting these people and getting 3 hots and a cots. So that's my way of looking at it. But at the same time, that's why I'm kind of indifferent. I'm like, whatever happens to this piece of shit, let it happen. Sorry about my language. But whatever happens, let it happen. I don't care, as long as this family sees justice. That's always my take on that.
I agree. I see Kellen. Sorry, Will, to interrupt. Kellen is in here sharing a lot of information. I see that you're saying that she does have a $5 million bond. And also, I saw a comment up here before about how there has been, $20,000 raised for the family already. Do you by any chance have that link? Do you want to throw it in here? Do you want to jump on and talk about what all of this information you're throwing into the chat? If you are closer to the case and have information, let me know what you think.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing to me how similar this is to the Heidi Broussard case. And, watching you get emotional earlier, I mean, that kind of got to me because, like, I know you know what I mean? We're friends. And I know that that's really coming from a very, very, very deep place in your heart. Because I know how you feel about these cases and I know how you feel about families and it's just so yeah. And I felt the same way when this happened to Heidi Broussard. And the biggest part of that, people don't really think about the ripple effect that these things cause. I mean, Heidi's fiance, Shane Carey, was dragged all over social media and YouTube, and I mean, people that claim to know them went up there and dragged this guy and made him out to be responsible for this. So, and now, it turned out that he had nothing to do with it. He was nothing but a worried spouse. And he already had a son with her, I believe. And now here he is with 2 kids and having to raise them all on his own. And at the same time, trying to prepare himself for the worst and trying to keep hope alive that his, fiance is going to be found safe. And then at the end of it all, during all of this, he's being ostracized and being labeled a murderer.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, though. In that case, didn't she basically kidnap her and deliver the child herself at her house and then dispose of the body? Or was that a separate case?
It's got to be a separate case.
Oh, got it. Why are there so many of these?
Right. Who's going around killing people and taking babies, dude? Like, what is going on? So I that's an interesting comment there. I'm seeing a lot of familiar names in here too that go in my chat. Living Life at Home is a faithful listener. She says the death sentence costs more than a life sentence. Okay. I didn't know that. Thank you.
So I think we can all agree, let her suffer.
Sure. If that's the case, absolutely. This woman not only took a life, but ruined many others. And this is the thing that we have to consider when we talk about these cases, people. We've got to consider the fact that people are affected, that, not just the person who is the direct victim, but people who care about this person are affected. And that's, in that the Heidi Broussard thing that is very similar to this, it broke my heart. It absolutely broke my heart. And this is, I could see this is the same thing for you. Your reaction here is, and you being a mom, of a little boy and a wife. I mean, that's, yeah. I mean, I raised 2 kids myself, and I know, this is why I follow these things, because I just want to try to understand why. I just want to try to understand why these things happen, and I can't figure out why these things happen. And I think that's probably why we all do it.
That's what I'm trying to figure out too. Like, what was going on in her mind? Was it that she really wanted to have a baby to keep her boyfriend, and she had lied to him about being pregnant, so now she had to follow through with it? Which, I mean, there's so many different ways she could have gone about that. She wouldn't have even had to say that she lied and about ever being pregnant. She could have said, I lost the baby. She could have said a million things. Like,
right.
So why go to this extreme? And again, with how pregnant she was showing to be, which, let's go right back to that picture. How on earth could he not have known?
The same thing happened with Megan Faramuska's baby daddy, supposedly. He was cleared of everything. I mean, he had nothing to do with it. But how can you? I mean, this is something that I talked about when I covered this case a lot, is what happens is women can be very, very, when it comes to men and their guy, they can just be very, very, very convincing. And who knows what lengths, somebody who's capable of something this heinous, who knows what lengths she would go to lie and cover up each lie, and how tenacious she would be in doing so. So, I mean, anything's possible. I mean, I don't feel like having sex. Taking showers when he's not home. Oh, I already took a shower. Anything.
I mean, come on. For that many months, there's no way. And
I agree with you.
And I don't mean for this to come across the wrong way, but like, I'm going to throw this up one more time. She's not like an overweight woman. She's not big in anywhere to where it's not like one of those TV shows, I didn't know I was pregnant, or like whatever it is. Like, there's no way that this could have been disguised as just like extra quarantine weight or the COVID-19 pounds or whatever they call it. Like, give me a break. There's no way.
Someone in chat actually said that she gained the weight.
But how do you gain the weight in your uterus?
Just in your stomach. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
now,
come on.
She's a little thick around the arms, maybe a little bit, but I mean, I don't know, man. A lot of carbs.
No, you can't. Okay, if I were to just go shove my face right now, I couldn't be like, all right, hey, carb, I want to direct this carb and this fat to my ass. Like, no, it goes all over the place.
But for some reason, me personally, like, I work out every day. I work out twice a day. And I have this little putch, man. I mean, I'm 45 years old, but I have this little putch and it won't go away. The last thing to go is what's in your stomach. So it's
for me, it's all right here. This is where it all goes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wait, okay. So it goes everywhere, but here's the place where I can't lose it.
Right.
Okay.
And there's no such thing as isolated fat burn.
No.
You're not going to do 100 sit-ups a day and then lose your gut. No, you have to do a shit ton of cardio, and you have to eat practically nothing that tastes good.
Air.
So, yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, okay. So here's what I do want to say. So There was one piece of information that I haven't mentioned yet, and I want to get everybody's take on this. So please throw your opinions on this in the chat. Let me know too if you've heard this. And again, please, anybody who wants to join the conversation, feel free to call in as long as you are not a troll. But so in addition to this hysterectomy story that was floating around, there was also a story, and I haven't been able to vet it, but I've seen it several places, that the Monday prior to this happening, so this happened on Friday, October 9th. That Monday before this happened, there was either bomb threat or bomb scare called into the maternity ward at that hospital in which Taylor was taken to, like the local hospital or whatever it was. And so there is speculation that she called that in and was planning to go to the maternity floor and steal a baby while all of this chaos was happening from this bomb scare where everything gets shut down, but that it didn't work. And she wasn't able to bring that plan to fruition, which is why she then moved to this next stage and this more vicious plan. Well, not more vicious, but just more graphic, I should say, of stealing the baby directly from Reagan.
This whole thing, man. This whole thing. I mean, that's what Megan Faramuska did too. I mean, she just faked a pregnancy the whole time, and nobody could understand how she managed to pull that off. And I mean, and she was friends with her. They would exchange pregnancy stories. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the thing.
I mean,
I don't think that this is mental illness, which I see some people commenting in the chat. And the reason why is, even if she did have a hysterectomy, or even if she lost this baby and when she was 6-7 months pregnant, whatever it may be, maybe she was pregnant all along, we have no idea. Even though she told officers she lied to her boyfriend, but maybe she meant she lied about the pregnancy continuing. But you are not just mentally ill if you are bringing a baby gift the day before you go to murder this woman and steal her child after you already have a relationship with her. And I'm not saying they were best friends or close friends, but a relationship enough to where they were friends on Facebook. She photographed their engagement. She photographed their wedding. She brought a baby gift to the house or to wherever the day before. I mean, there was clearly a relationship here. And if you're just mentally ill, you're not being that strategic and meticulous and heartless as you're doing this. If you're mentally ill, you're going to and stealing a child on the side of the road, maybe. I don't know.
That's a fictional Lifetime movie, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not even so. And you said something, I think, on your last premiere, where you mentioned somebody said something about mental illness in the chat, and you were like, nah, man, they're not they're not getting off with me that easy. Like, maybe there's a mental illness there, sure, but not the kind of mental illness that excuses you from a crime like this. That the whole thing is, the only reason mental illness matters in court is whether or not you can stand trial, whether or not you are capable of standing trial. But you don't just get away with murder and get stuck in a padded room. No. You know what I'm saying? Because
you don't get the benefits of the insanity plea. No.
Nah, dude. No. Like,
especially if she was planning this for this many months and went as far as to have this fake gender reveal, this fake maternity shoot. I mean, she was strategic in this. This was a thought out plan. Maybe not how she was going to obtain the child. And maybe that was something that if she did think she was going to call in that bomb threat, if that ends up panning out to be real, and her plan was to just steal a child from the maternity ward and that didn't work out, so then she went to plan B. I don't care what the execution was. You had been plotting this entire time of what your end result was going to be. That is not something that is grief from losing a child or mentally ill. No, that is something that is calculated and cold-hearted and psychotic.
Completely. Totally. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. You don't get to say that you're incapable of standing trial when you planned for God knows how long to do something this bad and then execute it over a period of 9 months at least.
Right.
So there's no, man. Hey, I got to give a shout out real quick, man. Bite Me in chat she's just dropping crazy super chats.
I know. She does in all my videos. I love you, Bite Me, and I love your blue hair, and I appreciate your support and super chats. You are the best.
She even she even donated to my PayPal. That was
we love her.
I'm just modding here. Like I didn't, yeah. But
I want to go quickly to Elena Jones' comment here on the screen that they think she was trying to get out of her fake scheduled induction, and that she told people was the day of the bomb threat. Interesting. So, I mean, I feel like it's just one thing after another that's proving behind what her plan was all along, and that she was truly plotting something sinister. Kellen, I'm going to throw you on here. Oops. Bite Me is bad. Yeah, that wasn't the one I meant to click, but yes, Nicole, you are right. So Kellen, you keep dropping comments with information about he was posting on a Snapchat today for prayers. First, I must have missed who that was, but also you're just a local, so you've read quite a bit. Call in, jump on, share with us, and let us know what you're hearing. Teresa's asking where my wine is. Well, Teresa, it's still the afternoon here, and I have to go drive and pick up my son from school soon, so it's water for me. Save the turtles, use a reusable.
Coffee here. I got to go back to work eventually.
Coffee, isn't it like 8 o'clock there?
Yeah.
That's why you don't sleep.
Almost 8, yeah.
Well,
I work tonight till midnight, so.
Oh, jeez. So, okay, let me just go back over here to the comments really quick. And let me go back over here to see. Okay, so I'm just going to show you guys an image again of the two of them side by side. Again, I'm sorry, this girl, which I get it. Again, evil doesn't have a face. And we've seen it in Casey Anthony, even though she was deemed innocent, give me a break, where she didn't look evil. And this doesn't look like evil. However, fast forward, that looks like evil.
I mean, anybody with a mugshot, you can see the evil in them, because what the hell did they do to get in that position? But at the same time, I mean, you look at her, I mean, she's a beautiful girl. Mm-hmm. Like, what is going on, man? Like, you want to have a baby so bad, but not bad enough to actually have your own?
Unless she did have a hysterectomy, or unless she was pregnant and lost the child and was grieving, and this was some sick outlet. However, there's still adoption. There's so many different avenues. Really quickly, I have to because it's top of mind, I have to go back to this mugshot, because I just have to tell you guys a story, and she is going to kill me for sharing this, but we just talked about how mugshots, there's not a good one in the book. My best friend Morgan, and she's going to kill me for putting her on the spot here. She 10 years ago got a DUI, not smart, but got a DUI. And that was back in the heyday of spray tanning and going to the bars and doing all of that. In her mugshot, because she was crying when she got arrested, she has, the girls will know where I'm going with this. She had spray tan tears on her face for a week, because when you get your tan wet, it doesn't stick and you lose it. And she had just tears in her mugshot of where she lost the spray tan, and it was on her face for about a week. So I just have to throw that out there. Girls, definitely don't do any sort of criminal offenses after a fresh spray tan that you may be getting arrested for.
I don't know how y'all do it, man. All that maintenance, man, that you guys got to do. I mean, yeah, I don't know how y'all do it, man. Especially with spray tan, and then you're gonna go and commit a crime.
Yeah, can't do it. Can't do it. Let's see, Ange. But what you read is information no one else has. My information or Kellen's information? Kellen. I can't bring myself to call in. Everything I know is whatever. Kellen, you don't have to show your face. You can leave your camera off. I don't want to push you into calling in, but I think people would be interested to hear from you, but you don't have to turn your camera on. It can just be the black screen, but it's up to you. I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable, but
yeah, for those of you who have a little bit of stage fright, it's real easy. Just make sure you turn off your camera. And on top of that, don't look at the chat. No reason to look at the chat. And it's just like you're having a conversation with a couple friends. That's all it is. So, no pressure, but it's once you do it, exactly. Once you do it, you realize it's not that serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And if anybody wants to call in with any other questions or other case comments or questions, let's just have a chat, guys.
Yeah, man.
So let me see. There was something here that D-Share, thanks. You're so smart and so pretty, but those tattoos, oh my God, hard to watch with those so visible. Hey, I hear you, D-Share. I hear you. And you know what? I'm going to give you guys a double fun fact today. All of these are 14 years old. I was 18 years old at the time. No, so 15 years old. God. I was 18 years old at the time. I was dating a tattoo artist, and I said, yeah, go ahead, mark me up. This is a freaking bird that was supposed to be a sparrow, but he colored green, so it looks like a freaking parrot wearing Nikes. Like, this was supposed to be a locket with a ribbon. It looks like a tentacle. Like, I know they suck. I got it. I tried to get rid of them, and I went for a million different consultations.
I don't think she's taking a jab at the quality of the tattoo work. I think she's just having a hard time that you have tattoos.
No, the quality's bad too. It's all bad.
Dude, you're talking to a guy who has a Cyclops spider burger with cheese on his wrist, man. And I specifically asked for that. I was like, he put an eye on it, but I was like, I want a cheeseburger with spider legs, man. He was like, yeah. So no hate coming from here. No hate coming from here. I mean, people get their tattoos because they want to get their tattoos, and chances are, yeah, if you get tattoos at 18 or like Annie at 15, you're gonna regret them later, probably.
15? I said 18. I said 15 years ago.
Oh, 15 years ago. And yeah, sorry about that.
Not that makes it much better, but
no.
I personally don't like them, and I've gone to and had several consultations to try to get them removed. And unfortunately, for laser, literally skin graft is the only way I can get them removed, by putting like a graft of skin over, because green, which is like what I'm all inked up with, is apparently the hardest color to remove. So they said it would take 18 sessions, and that they couldn't even guarantee that it would be removed. They said it would just look like a bad bruise. I was like, okay, so I either go through 18 sessions of laser and like $1 million just to look like a battered wife or something, or I just stick it out until somebody comes up with something new. So I don't even know.
Yeah, forever. Fuck that. But I know. Sorry about that. My bad. But I worked as a body piercer at a tattoo shop in Miami for about 10 years. And I saw this all the time. And we actually had a guy who was a doctor who did tattoo removal, and he would shoot the shop some money if we sent him people his way, and they actually got their tattoos removed. But rarely would they ever do that. Hey, Kellen. But yeah, I'm saying just don't even. They don't look bad. Keep your tattoos. It's fine.
Thanks. Hey, Kellen.
Hi. Okay. So
Thank you for joining.
No problem. So I'm like super nervous, but also I feel kind of weird. I feel weird talking about this because it's like so local, but everything I know is off of Facebook pretty much.
So that is a Texas twang you got there.
I mean, yeah, I'm like I live in Texarkana, which is like 15 minutes from New Boston. I have so many of the same friends as these girls, but I didn't never know them, but I know a lot of the same people that they know.
Oh, wow.
And it's a super small town, but there is a PayPal on, if you go to Sarah Whitehead's Facebook, her husband does a lot of dirt track racing, so it should be pretty easy to find and it's public, but there is a PayPal that everyone's donating to, and I know the family would probably really appreciate that because there's also the funeral stuff is this weekend as well. So try to keep them in mind as we do all this, and all the family, because supposedly the boyfriend, he was already talked to and they let him go. Supposedly his alibi checked out. Supposedly, I don't know for sure. And you guys go. I'm talking too much.
No, I was just going to say, I will get that link. I'm messaging. Oh, here, I just got it. I'm messaging with the family right now on their family Facebook page. So I just got it. I have my other browser window open. So I'm going to share it here in the chat, guys. And then I'll also post it in the description box below once we post this. But yes, please, let's go and show support for the family. And if you can donate, I mean, anything you can donate is going to something amazing and going to the right thing.
For sure.
So Kellen, you were saying too about not just the boyfriend, but about talking about Taylor, about Reagan, about anything. Is there anything else you've heard? Have you heard these rumors of the hysterectomy, the bomb threat? You're local, so I'm sure you're hearing a lot more.
Yeah, I've read like that supposedly she had a gastric bypass surgery. I haven't like heard anything confirmed on hysterectomy or not, but she did have 2 children also before. So it seems like to me that she literally faked an entire pregnancy. How he didn't really, I mean, I guess maybe if he worked, like that's what I'm figuring is like he worked and they weren't together like every day, maybe is the only thing I could maybe as to how he wouldn't know, she wasn't.
I agree with you, man. Like
pregnant.
sinister people have a way. Sinister people that are capable of something this bad, they've got to have a very, very good system of lying and keeping up with their lies. It's only responsible to assume that. But at the same time, I agree with Annie in the sense that, like, how does the boyfriend not know? But for some reason, in the Heidi Broussard case, Megan Faramuska's baby daddy lived with her. They had broken up supposedly, and supposedly he was renting a room, so that makes it easier to understand. She was living there, and she owed him rent, as far as I know. So apparently, either they had a one-time thing or they were not together for a while. So that makes it more easy to understand how she could have kept that lie going for 9 months. But as far as this Reagan case is concerned, I'm gonna have to agree with Annie. I don't see how you're like totally like with somebody every single day,
Right.
But at the same time, I'm not ready to just start throwing accusations at somebody. But it sounds a lot like law enforcement is looking into this guy.
I just want to throw this up because I get it. He's not touching her stomach here, but here's that gender reveal. They're awfully close here. I get that there's a baby calf between them. Like, I got it. I am not buying it that if she wasn't pregnant, that he didn't know. It's too close to comfort. I'm not buying it. You guys tell us in the chat. What do you think? Okay, Elena is saying that Wade has no children. Not that that means anything, but could it mean that he wanted a child? And if Taylor, in fact, could not have any more children because she did have a hysterectomy, could this be a plot between the two of them to have a baby together that everybody would believe is their shared child? Just a thought.
That's crazy to me that this dude would be so clueless, man. I mean,
Philly Girl is asking if we can fill people in who are just coming in. I'll give you the brief version. Otherwise, you can rewind to watch the whole thing. But basically, just a week ago on October 9th, 21-year-old, we lost Kellen. 21-year-old Reagan was vicious. She was 8 months pregnant. She was viciously killed in her own home, and her belly was sliced open and her baby was gone. And the woman who did this to her was a friend/acquaintance who was friends with her on Facebook, who also photographed her engagement and her wedding and brought a baby gift the day before the murder. She fled the scene with the baby, tried to lie as though it was her own, was shortly arrested after, was taken to the hospital. The baby did not survive. Reagan did not survive. And Taylor has been arrested. That's the short version, but rewind to go through everything. And we've got Ryan back. Let me add you in. Hey, Ryan.
What's up, Ryan?
Hi. Do we know for like a psych eval, see if she could stand trial?
I don't think anything's been ordered yet because she hasn't even entered her plea yet.
We know. I know that. Jesus, what's her name already? Letitia Stalk. She tried to pull that, and she went and did like a 2-week evaluation or whatever. But yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. She tried to pull that. It didn't work. The thing is if you're capable of pulling off all of this, and everything that it involves in order to try to get away with it, and you're capable of even lying about it, the fact is you're not going to get off easy as far as you know. And I'm not a lawyer. I'm just assuming you're not going to convince a judge or a jury that you're not capable of standing trial when you're capable of pulling off a thing like this that took at least 9 months.
Oh yeah, and like guts. Okay, hold on.
Right.
Ryan, don't take offense to this. I'm gonna just throw you on mute really quick, and I'm gonna throw Brittany in because I know you had just joined. So you need to unmute yourself on your end, I think, Britt.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Okay, so I was trying to figure out why her boyfriend might not have known, because that's so weird to me. But the only thing I could think of was she was saying maybe she was due in November. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So the only thing I can think of is with COVID going on. I know that I was pregnant. I had a child back in April, and my fiance wasn't allowed to go to any of the appointments. So maybe
that's true.
That could be why.
Huh.
And Reagan was due in November, and somebody had mentioned that Taylor's scheduled induction was the Monday prior to the 9th. So due somewhere between ballpark, I would say October, November. Let me see if I have the actual date here. But that's a really good point because although I wonder if that's the same for just like OB appointments. So he wasn't allowed to go to any of your OB appointments either?
That's weird.
Well, I mean, that's standard with COVID.
With COVID. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
And yeah, for a while, the men couldn't even be in the delivery room.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing I could think of as to why she'd be able to get away with it. Like, oh, sorry, there's COVID, you can't come, but here's an ultrasound that I downloaded off of Google.
I mean, that totally makes sense, but we still don't understand then how she faked this big stomach and like went to sleep next to him every night with this fake belly. And like, was she faking her pregnancy around her other kids too, pretending they were going to have a sibling? Like, it's just so twisted. I'm going to throw Dee Dee. I'm going to unmute you, Dee Dee. Hi. Oh, there we go.
I only got a few more minutes because I'm on break, but what I wanted you to do is take a look at Ravenna, Ohio in October of 2000. This also happened.
Are you in a walk-in cooler right now?
Actually, no, I'm in our smoke shack outside.
Okay.
It was an officer actually, and it was his wife that was pretending to be pregnant.
Wow. You said this is Ravenna, Ohio?
Yeah, and her name was Michelle Bica.
Okay, wow. I'm going to look into that.
Thank you.
Dude, what is going on with people, man?
I have no idea, but I will tell you this. I had a cousin that was pregnant and did not know it until she went into labor. And that is no lie.
That's literally my worst nightmare.
That can happen. So, I don't know. But yes, people are crazy. I absolutely agree. This world is just not real anymore.
It's really surreal right now. Like if I had a time machine and I went back to like the Reagan administration and told somebody what 2020 was like, they would be like, nah.
I know.
They'd be like, no way.
All right, I gotta go, lady. Everybody.
All right, thanks, Dee Dee.
Bye-bye.
Haley.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going. So I'm actually a local. I live in DeKalb. And I commented on here earlier, and I don't think that y'all saw my comments, but on my way home from work, there were actually officers on horses, like I guess on the highway that she took to Oklahoma, maybe close to where she got pulled over. And someone had commented or posted in like a community group saying that the officers are working on a case and for them not to be bothered. So I don't know if maybe that had anything to do with it.
Wow.
Everything that everything that I've heard mostly, I've just heard at work. I work in New Boston. But there's a lot of speculation going on whether like her husband or her boyfriend was aware that she was pregnant or not. My husband grew up with him. They lived in the same town, and from what he's told me, he said that he doesn't really think that he's that type of guy. I kind of feel like maybe he just got tricked by her. Because I know that I read somewhere from somebody that she was friends with that she was telling everybody she had a lot of medical problems during her pregnancy. So I'm wondering if maybe like she told him, that as far as like, because everybody keeps saying, well, they had to have had sex. Well, maybe they didn't because of that.
I mean, that's a great point, which not for nothing, but when you're pregnant, that's, at least for me, that was like the last thing I wanted to do. So I get it. But that's interesting. So he grew up with him and he's saying that's not like in his character, which I mean, we know people are fleeting and they change all the time, but that's really interesting. So it's going to be, I don't know what his exact alibi was. I'm waiting to get the exact details on that to see if it, and how it was vetted, because I would imagine there's a lot more behind the scenes that goes into something. I mean, I know for a fact there is a lot more that goes on behind the scenes and they don't release the information because they don't want to spook somebody who might be a suspect or, throw a wrench into the investigation. So it's going to be interesting.
There's a lot of speculation going on. I heard at work that his coworkers are like not agreeing with his alibi. They're saying that he wasn't at work because that's supposedly his alibi. So I'm not really sure.
If you weren't at work, don't say you were at work, man. That's easily debunked, I mean, don't ever say you were at work when you weren't at work. Why would you do that? That's really dumb.
Honestly, it blows my mind how dumb some of these alibis are. Like, and I don't know if I've just been involved in true crime for so long that I know exactly what my alibi would be, how I would get rid of somebody, like all these things. But like, do these people not think phones are tracked? Do they not think that people verify your alibi? Do they not think they find out if you had a mistress on the side? Like, it blows my mind how stupid these people are. At least be smart about it. Come on.
Right.
The only thing that makes me like wonder if maybe he was in on it and maybe he actually did try to use that as an alibi is like, you can tell from this whole case that she didn't plan anything out really. She did, but like towards the end, I think she kind of panicked. And I'm wondering if maybe like the fact that she thought that she was going to get away with it. And, that's supposed to be like her boyfriend. I wonder if maybe, maybe they thought the baby was going to be okay or something. You know what I mean? And they thought they were going to be able to get across like state lines and keep going or something.
Well, yeah, especially if she was manufacturing the story that she was about to deliver herself. And I'm not nearly well versed enough in like farm work and cattles and like what kind of equipment goes into that. I have only seen dumb ranch movies that like I can speak to. But and if you know, Lee, let me know. But I would imagine that you would have to have a pretty heavy-sized blade to get all the way in there, get through the muscle, the tissue, everything, to where, was she strong enough to do that? Did she have the tools to do that? Or did he? Was he the strength behind it? Like, there's so many things that go into it.
Exactly, yeah. I also heard that her, I guess like a neighbor or somebody that lived like around their neighborhood had saw her like before this stuff had happened and she was wearing his clothes. So I don't know if maybe she tried to do that like in case her daughter saw her or
how weird.
I'm not really sure.
Okay. All right.
But I've also heard that she worked as like a surgical assistant or something like that.
I've read that too, and that she knew how to do IVs, and she had a bunch of things listed on her Facebook as like experience in like different medical little niches. Right.
I mean, the thing is the baby didn't survive. So it wasn't like whoever did this, whether it was her and the boyfriend or the boyfriend. I mean, the baby didn't survive. So they obviously didn't really know what they were doing.
Right.
So it's very, I don't think it really, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter. That's not the right way to say it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody had to have surgical experience or medical experience in order to perform this horrible act.
No, I mean, if they had actual medical experience, maybe there would be a better chance of the survival rate.
Totally.
Lee, go ahead and stay in here. I'm just going to mute you and let Luna and Kayla jump on the conversation really quick. Let me undo this. Luna, I think you're muted. There we go.
Okay.
Hey, Luna.
I'm trying to connect to internet so that it's not breaking.
Oh, your connection's a little bit choppy. Do you want to try and connect and then jump back in?
I'm having issues, I think.
That's okay. See what you can do.
Hey, Mary Lopez.
Oh, we lost her. Okay, Kayla, I think you have to unmute yourself.
Hey.
Hi.
So I have been seeing a lot of people just say, like, how could somebody pull off being pregnant? So if I told my husband I was pregnant and put my hand on my belly just right, he would believe me because he trusts me. So I think that is going to be a very logical point for the boyfriend, just trusting this person who's telling him this and saying, oh, well, the doctor said you couldn't go to the appointment with me because of this, that, and the other. So I think that it's a lot of manipulating him for him to believe it, especially with it being only his first kid.
That's very possible, but I'm also thinking, like, who would know that she's a liar better than her own boyfriend? You know what I mean? Like, who would know that she's manipulative better than her own boyfriend?
But if she's been doing it the whole entire time, it's all he knows.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
But so Kayla, I agree with you. I think that's a great point. But do you think that she never let him touch her stomach then? Because again, it wasn't weight that was carrying everywhere, and you can't, to my knowledge, and tell me if I'm wrong, you can't tell your body where to store the weight. And like, I'm just going to throw the picture up one more time. I mean, it was clear that she had a pregnant stomach.
My stomach looks like that. I can place my stomach and hold my hand just right, and I can look exactly like that.
All right.
I mean, yeah.
Like, I literally have been asked so many times, when is your baby due? I'm not pregnant. I've never had a kid.
People need to stop asking that question.
That's really messed up, man. I'm sorry.
My entire weight in my stomach. And if I wear certain things, I look more pregnant than if I just wear like a loose, flowy shirt. Something else I want to add is that I have worked in a medical unit at our county jail, and I kind of know the details on like getting the mental health evals and things like that. So the Sandra Bland Act has changed a lot of mental health issues in the county jail settings since she passed away years ago. And all it takes is for her to say one little thing, and she gets on the docket to go for a mental health evaluation. However, Texas is very behind, because I do live in Texas. Texas is very behind on the beds that are available for counties, and it can be years before they go for that evaluation.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, I have an inmate.
So you got to sit in jail until that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I have an inmate. I say he's my inmate. When he came in, he had a lot of mental health problems, but it was drug induced. He has been in county jail 4 years and just went.
Wow.
And none of his time counts unless the judge says it does. So he finally got cleared. And once you get in the setting to go to that evaluation, even if your behavior changes, like, he's a night and day person, like, he has completely changed. He's even a trustee now. But because that was put in to begin with, he has to go there. So you just have to wait until a bed comes open. And those beds are limited because it's a county jail issue.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Kayla. I appreciate that.
That was really insightful. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, we've got Chrissy here. Let me throw Chrissy on. Kayla, I was going to say, feel free to stay on. Chrissy.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my God, I'm so thankful that there's not an accent here, because I thought you were the other Chrissy who has been trolling me lately. But hi, welcome.
I'm from Chicago. I might have a different kind of accent.
No, I was like, when I saw your name and then no picture, I was like, oh, here we go. But okay, anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Welcome, Chrissy.
Hi, thank you. I just wanted to add on about how easily you can fake a pregnancy. I'm about the same size as that girl, and I've had 4 children. So if I have a bag of popcorn and a Diet Coke, I can easily look pregnant. So,
all right. Oh, so you know what, guys? Then maybe he didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, and as far as like the whole intimacy thing, and how could he not know if they're, they're living together, they're sleeping together, whatever. With COVID, everybody is right. He's not allowed to go to just regular medical appointments. She could easily say something about, I'm high risk, I can't be intimate, you can't go anywhere near there. If this is his first baby, he doesn't know. Men don't know.
They've never been through it before.
And chances are, I mean, he's probably, by the looks of him, it's probably safe to assume he's a pretty old-fashioned guy where he's just like, that's the lady stuff. I don't,
By the looks of him, way to profile, Will.
Whatever, dude. The guy's wearing a flannel shirt, a giant belt buckle, and a cowboy hat, and he's, playing with horses.
And he lives in Texas.
Come on. You know what I'm saying? That guy's voting Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we are not getting political here. Not tonight.
I'm saying that guy's voting Trump. That's all I'm saying. Is it not safe to assume that pretty much? I mean, I could be wrong, but really, I'd put money on it. See what I'm saying? So,
I totally agree with you. Based on him being on a farm, he's probably very traditional in gender roles.
Right.
He does the work and she does the kids and the inside. And he's probably like, let me know when I need to be where and I'll be there, but I'm staying out of it.
Yeah, he doesn't look real progressive. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So I'm gonna jump over to Luna and then to Caroline really quick. Chrissy, feel free to stay on and thank you for sharing. I'm gonna have to start wrapping this up in the next 10 minutes just because I have to go get my little meatball. But hold on, let's go here. All right, Luna, connection. How's the connection?
It's a lot better now, thank you.
Oh, good.
Okay, so where I live in Southern California, we had a case somewhat similar to this. It happened to be a nurse that stole everything from the hospital to induce a lady and stole the lady's baby and killed the lady after the baby was born. And the nurse lady faked the pregnancy. Her colleagues, everybody thought she was pregnant. They had no no insight on that she wasn't, because she's a nurse. Why are you going to question a nurse? You know what I mean?
Right.
And she literally stole everything from the hospital to induce this lady and then steal the baby.
That's crazy.
She only got caught. The only reason why she got caught was because she did not know that the lady's husband or boyfriend, significant other, was a different race than her husband. And so she finally confessed that it wasn't her kid, but it was somebody's kid that gave it to her, but then they put 2 and 2 together because of date of birth and all of that. It was insane.
That's crazy. And that brings me to another thought. I mean, just imagine how many people actually have gotten away with this. I mean, I don't imagine that it's an easy thing to get away with, but there's people out there that more than likely have gotten away with this.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear different cases all the time where children were stolen from the hospital back before they had the safe haven laws and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
There's children that were stolen from the hospital by nurses or by doctors or by other family members or people they were visiting. It's not an uncommon thing to come across. It's just the heinousness of this crime is just, I mean, there's that Lifetime movie or whatever that goes along this storyline. Did she get her idea from that movie? Is that what gave her playbook?
Totally. I know exactly what movie you're talking about too. Caroline, I'm going to let you share in just 1 second. And Luna, of course, please stay on and continue sharing. I just have one question. Unless I haven't heard it and unless I missed it, what is everybody's views, and throw it in the chat, as to, yes, he provided an alibi, but why hasn't he spoken out yet? Or has he? But why hasn't he expressed condolences to Reagan's family? Why hasn't he spoken out to even say, I can't believe this happened, unless I missed that?
He could have lawyered up and the lawyers probably told him not to say a word.
But if you're innocent, why aren't you talking?
Because your lawyers told you not to say a word. I mean, if I'm paying lawyers, I'm going to do what they're telling me to. I'm going to do what they tell me to do. You know what I mean? I'm going to get my money's worth. Lawyers are bloodsuckers, man.
Fair enough. All right, Caroline, welcome. I said you had your face showing. Now you're not. That's all right. Okay,
I looked really bad.
No, you don't.
Oh,
Please.
man.
No,
Can
you
you hear me? I just took my face off, so I'm here with the kitty cat.
Oh, no, you're fine. We can hear you.
Okay, good. So I used to work in corrections and I used to do sentence management, and that time that was in county jail will count as far as I know. So that is there's a lot of different like credits you can get. You can get credits. Now I don't know about Texas. I did it in Tennessee, but there are a lot of credits. Like you can get 9 months off if you go to like a drug and alcohol program. You pretty much, because the systems are so clogged up with so many people, you do have the option, and a lot of it is like 2 for 1. So I mentioned I was really interested to hear about the Sandra Bland act, because that's interesting, but I was like, how does it not count if they're in jail? How does that not count towards their sentence? And I could be totally wrong. It's been a couple years since I've done it, so they may have changed. But what I don't understand, the biggest thing and the thing I never understand, I don't know the more recent case, but there was an episode of Deadly Women, and it was like Bobby Sue or Bobby Joe. It was another case where the lady ended up lying about being pregnant, and then she saw an ad for like puppies.
What?
And
what?
Yeah, she saw an ad. The pregnant lady had she was like a dog breeder, and the lady who needed a baby was like, "Hey, I'm interested in your dogs," and killed her. I would think it was like late 80s, early 90s. So
wow.
it's terrible. I don't understand. Like, this is the weirdest crime.
It's like the worst. Like,
It is the worst.
Right. How do you top murdering and raping someone? You steal their baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is crazy.
I just don't understand. Like, there's all of this baby theft right now, and like, never. You have to like not have a soul.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you got to be, totally remorseless, completely and totally. I can't even imagine. I can't imagine having so little to care about
like,
to get to that point.
I just wonder if there's like a specific type of psychology.
I mean, I'm sure, but I feel like that's what's going to be so interesting.
Their noggin.
I mean, I took psychology in college, and I,
absolutely,
to my knowledge,
I
can't even besides.
They have to think that they're coming from a place of love, because the plan is to care for the baby as their own. So they must justify this in their mind to some degree, that they're doing this from a place of love. This person's never going to love that baby the way that I could love that baby. You know, this kind of madness, this kind of thinking. I mean, when you think about it, anybody who does these things, that somehow they justify their actions in their mind. Nobody actually thinks they're evil. Nobody actually knows. Nobody's sitting there twisting their mustache going, ha, ha. You know, nobody does that. They're somehow justify their actions before doing it, you know? And it's insane, man.
It really is.
I could definitely see that if she didn't already have children herself.
I just don't.
I can definitely see where you're going with that. If she didn't have kids herself already.
Yeah, but not only that though, but I can also, to a point, understand if she lost the baby or did have a hysterectomy or something. I could possibly understand to where that grief might overpower your emotions and your rational thinking. I could see that. But like, this seems like a case in which it was way more sinister and well planned out, and she had a whole plot behind it, to where I don't know that this is just some grief-stricken woman who is mourning the fact that she either can't have children anymore or has lost a child. Like, it seems more serious to me.
Yeah, well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I had a hysterectomy 3 years ago, and I could not ever. And I mean, mine was an emergency. I had no choice in the matter, right? But I no matter what, I could not ever do that to somebody else and to a child. Like, no way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, guys, Elena, if you want to just jump on, we've got 3 minutes and then we got to start wrapping it up. So ask your questions in the chat, and then Elena, let's chat too. Luna, thank you so much for joining. Thanks everybody for joining in on the discussion. And then I need to do one of these lives earlier in the day so that I don't have to cut it off. All right, Elena, you are up. Elena, are you there?
Elena.
Oh.
No, you were right. It's Elena.
We can say Elania. That sounds more fancy.
I'm dyslexic.
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I can hear you now.
I just wanted to add, I don't know, am I allowed to mention like a group on Facebook, their name at all, or no?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm a member of True Crime Society, and I've been following this case since the very beginning. A lot of locals are in the group, and a lot of people that know her personally, that know Taylor. And apparently she is one of the most manipulative people you could meet. So everybody has said that if she could convince anybody of anything, she is the one. And they've also said that she has faked a ton of medical issues. There's a ton of information in the group. So she's faked, I don't know, her appendix was removed. I mean, there's even a picture of her where she claims to be in the hospital. She's clearly in her bed and she has tubes coming out of her nose. I mean,
whoa,
the amount of lies she's told, it's unbelievable.
So is this like Munchausen's, but like different? Yes. I don't even know. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. And Munchausen's is one of the most difficult or one of the least diagnosed psychological disorders there is.
And a lot of people,
and my theory, my theory on that is simply that that the amount of manipulation that it takes to be someone who has Munchausen by proxy is going to be able to manipulate whoever's evaluating them.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So, and this guy has never had a child before, and I've been pregnant. You know, I've had 2 children. Up until you're about 5 months pregnant, you're not really showing. Okay, you know, you can get away with it. If she was wearing, you know, a fake belly, then she could just, I feel like she's probably the person, based on what I've heard, that could get away with, oh, I don't want you to see me naked. I don't feel comfortable. Or, oh, she claimed tons of medical issues related to the pregnancy, which probably helped her get out of any intimacy. So she also mimics, like if she's friends with somebody, like one of her friends has MS. So she claimed to have MS. Her friend was in a Jeep club. So she went and bought a Jeep and joined the Jeep club. I mean, she's kind of mental. So
wow.
Just FYI.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. I'm going to join that group and see what's going on.
Yeah, go join. No, seriously, go join it, because there's so much information. It's crazy.
Wow.
Well, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Have a good night.
You too.
So guys, you didn't get a chance to jump on here and you have information or questions or things you want to share, shoot me an email, shoot me a message, do whatever it is you want to do. You could DM me on Instagram. It's _Annie Elise, or you can send me an email, and I'll do another one of these soon so we can talk about the updates as they come through, as we hear more of what her story and her version of events is. And we'll just keep the discussion going. Thanks, Will, for joining too. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Always fun to have you on.
Thanks.
All right, guys. So that being said, if you want to be updated for the next live stream or just case updates for this particular case, don't forget, hit subscribe and turn that notification bell to on so that you get the notification. And please like this video to show your support, comment with your thoughts on it as well on the video, and share it where you can. Let's get the word out so that we can get as many PayPal donations to the family, for Reagan's family, as possible. I mean, Homer has that 3-year-old child to continue to raise on his own now, the funeral expenses. I mean, anything we can do to help out. And I just put the link to the PayPal again in the chat so we can show them as much support as possible. Thank you guys again for taking your time to listen with me today. I appreciate it. And hopefully we will talk soon, and I will have some good updates for you in the sense of her being locked away and the key being thrown away. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Have a great night. And until the next case, stay safe. Bye.